All right, so here's what I was thinking, right? Is like, uh, we'll leave this part into like, but like, where it's like the debate coverage, like debate, like that's it. Never mind. I'll sample that. I'll just sample the like debate, and then it's like, all right, coverage, here it comes, right? And then it's like talking about what Biden should do after the debate is like never gonna end, right? Like it's not it's the one thing that's like it's unless we wait until November to release it, it's never gonna be irrelevant. You know what I'm saying?
True.
And so like
Or if like a month from now they were like, all right, he's stepping down. But
yeah. I
you
mean,
never know.
they're fighting about it still, right?
Right.
So it's even like it'd be worth releasing if they step down with like a little like thing at the beginning, like uh they didn't know that he was going to step down like a few weeks.
Well,
But
I'm predicting it right now. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna start this. My prediction. Here's what I think. Here's a lot of I've listened to a lot of the podcaster takes on this so far. Everyone from Sam Cedar to TrueAnon to Chapo and everybody else. Okay, but
we've listened to the exact same people.
yes, but anyways, everybody seems to think that this was like I guess like 100% like a surprise to the DNC Democratic Coalition media complex,
I mean,
what
I think
type
they're
thing.
pretending that that's what it is.
Yeah. So but it seems like nobody else is picking up on this. Is like they did this debate early, and why? I mean, and it's like, well, the Democrats were the ones who pushed for this debate to even happen. It's not like Trump was begging to debate; he agreed
We
to.
bono, who benefits?
Yeah, so it's like they decided, let's go do this debate early. If it goes really badly, because they knew that he's sundowning, there's all these reports saying that you can't talk to Biden after 4 p.m. Sorry, all meetings are before 4 p.m. All this stuff,
Four,
and
4
yeah,
p.m.
right. And it's summertime, so on the East Coast, it's not getting dark until like 9. So,
That's true. He's going to
so
bed
he's
fucking
his
in the
going to
middle of
sleep
the
before the sun
day.
is. Yeah, it's like that's like midday. And I mean, shit, if you're talking about the overall country, that is the middle of the day. In California, that's like 1 p.m. So
Yeah,
think about that.
which also is great because remember those ads that were like, the phone rings, the red phone rings in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Who do you want answering it? It's like, well, guess who's said explicitly that he's not answering? Like,
It's going to be a White House aide.
it's gonna be some fucking guy, one of the
Yeah.
like four people they let near him at any given time. It's gonna be Jill. Never mind. Wait, we're doing a whole Edith Wilson thing. It's
Yeah.
just, it's just
Nancy
this.
Reagan, like,
Yeah, it's just this. Yeah, it's power hungry bitch. Usurping, right? Because America will never elect a woman president. They have to just they have to push their fucking decrepit husbands over the finish line so they can get some power
yeah. So
secretly.
I think the wins of the Democratic Party, the leadership, the whatever, the Pelosi's and Schumer's and all these types, I think that they behind the scenes are pushing to get Biden replaced. And they have to pretend like that's not the case right now. And everyone has to
All
pretend.
right.
And I think even Biden might even be in on it already too. I mean, they might be like, okay, Mr. Biden, we're gonna do this debate. If it goes well and you kick Trump's ass and everything's cool, then we're good to go. But if things go awry, if you're not able to like communicate to the American people in the way you want to, then we're gonna have to make you step down or whatever. Like they might have had that agreement already ready to go.
All right. So let me just I almost agree with you, except
Okay.
I except for two parts. One, I I really don't think that they had that agreement beforehand. I think they might have made that agreement like amongst themselves, but they definitely didn't tell Biden about it. And
Fair enough.
at most almost everybody knew about it,
Hmm.
and then they like didn't give him his fucking adrenochrome and his fucking amphetamine suppository. So they just hung him out to dry, right? And they did it by whatever they kept saying, like right after the debate, they kept saying about how they over prepared him, right? I heard that a couple times, like how they drilled him for fucking like a couple of weeks at like Camp David before all this, right? And it was
Hmm.
like, so that just makes an old man confused. You got to give him
Yeah.
like five things to think about, and that's it, right? And
Right.
so
Like
I
if
think,
they just said like no matter what, bring it back to Roe v. Wade, or like, just like there's like a couple key things that like Trump
yeah.
did.
And so
Every
when it got
every
to fucking when it
like
got
like
to Roe v. Wade, he brought it back to fucking like they were like, all right, look, there's only two things that you got to remember, okay? Bring it back to Roe v. Wade. Don't fucking talk about immigration. And he was like, right.
yeah.
When Roe v. Wade comes up, talk about immigration. And they're like, fuck, this is gonna be so
That's
bad.
exactly what he did.
But
Yeah,
like,
and
but
like Trump definitely knew what he was doing. He every question, like the question would be about fucking Israel, and what is he talking about? The fucking southern border of the United States,
yeah.
immigration.
Dodge. That's
Yeah,
see,
like
that's a
every answer
way
to the question was the answer to some other question about immigration that
it's a
he.
way better strategy, honestly.
Yeah.
And the reason why this is like the third debate maybe I've ever watched all the way through in my life, because the dodging is fucking the most annoying. Like it just like it hits me in my like the most like the nerdiest part of my soul, right? Where
Hmm.
it's like just answer the I know it's gonna be bullshit, but answer the fucking question, right?
Yeah.
At least answer the question. But anyway, this is all the other thing that I think is that they didn't there's a very few strategic people who they didn't tell they were going to do this, and by they I'm pretty sure it's like Dr. Jill, anybody younger than 60 on Biden's team, and then everybody else in the Democratic Party, right?
Hmm.
They were like, look, here's what you're going to do, okay? He's going to go out there, he's going to shit the bed, you're going to act shocked, okay? You're going to text fucking, Joy Reid and whatever, and, Van Jones and shit, right? You're going to text them, what the fuck? Oh my God, my hair's on fire. And then they're going to have to say something, right? And then we're going to let the media do that part of it. But then what
Yeah, I don't even
is we're
think it
going to
was like.
send, well, here's the crucial part. We're going to send all the most senile, oldest people in the Democratic Party who we also need to get rid of, Nancy Pelosi being chiefest among them. And we're going to see how Kamala does, right? We're going to see how she does. We're not going to
Mhm,
tell her nothing, but we're going to see how she handles it, right?
mhm.
And for being blindsided, I gotta hand it to her. She didn't. It was awkward, but she didn't go all boozy and start stammering, right? Like it's like she
Yeah.
was like sticking to the like, well, look, it wasn't great, but
Yeah.
he's the president, right?
I
I
mean,
just
with that, what she needed to show is like, look, he's getting up there in age. He's still competent and able to do the job. But if he, for some reason, wasn't able to, I am ready to step up and make sure that nothing,
right.
bad, whatever, the word better than
Yeah,
that. But so, like, it has to
but
show,
she
like,
can't
she's
say
like,
that
no,
explicitly.
she's like, I am waiting for the day it happens, but I'm totally fine with it. It's not going to be shocking to me or like a
Right.
huge big deal. Like, we got it.
Or
So all
it's
cool.
also like I know how to play ball, right? Which
Mhm.
is which was the thing I was getting from her. It's like, look, I got to play ball, right? So Anderson Cooper keeps being like, but what did you, so you thought that was like even passably, like Anderson Cooper kept trying to be like, so you think he's too old and that you should be president, right? Like he kept trying to skirt around just asking her that directly. And she kept, I kept waiting for her to say, like, what the fuck do you want me to do? Okay, what do you want me to say? Okay, this is the fucking most rock and a hard place I've ever been between. Man, like, what, what am I supposed to say? Yeah, he's too old. I should be the president, right? Like, that's what you want me to say? Fuck off, right? I can't say that, right? And then, and then that's I can't, that's the news the next day. Biden's totally gone. And it's just Kamala says, fuck you, Anderson Cooper, I should be the president, right? Like, that's, it's like she could have.
And then they replace her instead of.
Yes,
it's Pete. Like Biden.
No, Pete. I'm telling you, I think Pete is fucking. Pete's done, right? But he's done in the same way that Kamala is, where like if you replace Kamala with Pete, and then you start talking about gay shit all the time, constantly, right? You have him come out and fucking with feathers on and fucking with rainbow suit. Right, and you're like, look, this is the summer of fabulousness, and then fucking, you make him be gayer than he is, right? And then that's the new thing, and then the right wingers, it fucking juices the right wingers, and it juices the liberals who don't have to pretend to care about Palestine, but they don't, right? Because the Palestinians will throw you off a roof for being gay or whatever the fuck they say, whatever. Like it'll juice those people who were going to vote for Biden anyway. He loses, right? Like it's like I think that this is where. So all right, I watched Sam Cedar for the first time in maybe a year, longer, and it dawned on me as soon as I started watching. Oh, okay. So this is like the Majority Report has become like MSNBC for like sane people, right? It's like
it's like
progressive left. They're the actual like progressive left wing of the Democratic Party. They're like where it actually would be if the world was a reasonable place, right? And it's like, and
you're gonna put them on like the spectrum, it'd be like right around where AOC,
right? Or and where AOC is, with some like Marxist sympathies, with some communist sympathies, right? It's like they're interested in the other left, right? But they are pragmatic, right?
Right.
And so watching them talk was like, yeah, I don't give a fuck if, but like one of the things they said that I was like, all right, fair enough. Like I haven't been paying attention, right? So that's true, right? Like it's like whenever nominal Democrats are talking about how Biden actually has like the best progressive record of any president or whatever, like my eyes gloss over and like I start to vomit. But it might be true in like just that way, where it's like, yeah, of any American president. Great.
If anything, that says more about like Obama, what Obama did in 8 years. If Biden in like a couple of years has done more shit than Obama did in 8 years, then that says a lot more about Obama than it does about
like fucking nightmarish, psycho, right? Yeah, like and just a fake, phony faker. Like, oh god, I hate him. Not the point. But they kept talking about how like it's like I would vote for a tin can. Yes, please. I would vote for a tin can if if they fucking if they fucking signed the right papers. Like I don't give a fuck about who the president is as long as they do what I want them to do. The president's just a fucking stamp, right? It's like a human being that's a stamp, right? And it's like, all right, well, yeah, I mean that's fair enough. That's not true, but if it were, fine, right? And then I just got done listening to the TrueAnon people, to Brace and Liz talking about it, and the one thing that I was like, ooh, that's real. Didn't think about that at all. Was that like doing this is actually a way to engage voters, right? That like no matter what happens, right? No matter like he steps down, he doesn't step down, it becomes like a battle in the like Democratic Party. Right now, all of a sudden, people are paying attention to like the fucking interworkings of the Democratic Party, even
Right.
if they weren't going to
Like
vote for them.
they might go from like, I think I'm not going to vote this time to on the side of Biden stepping down or not. You know, like
Yeah, or
like they
like,
go from that to like, well, no, I have an opinion on this, and then they get more interested in it, and then they start getting, you know,
yeah, and then
they're
eventually they
hoping
go
more
like, oh
people are going to be
shit,
like,
you know,
well,
it's
fuck
game
it, I'll
time.
do it.
Like, yeah, it's game time. It, you know, it's November. I've been talking all this shit for all year about how I wasn't going to vote for Biden, but like, fuck, right? Like now I'm invested again, right?
Right.
Which
Right.
was the thing I thought. That's my immediate first thought was like, ah, fuck, now I'm going to be glued to the fucking, you know, this fucking election coverage now. God damn it. Like I really, really, I I got into an argument with somebody on Reddit about all this, right?
Mhm.
And because the guy that I was arguing with, we were saying the same thing for opposite reasons, right? Or whatever, we were saying the opposite thing for the same reasons, I guess would be more accurate. Where it's like this guy was saying, and it was definitely a guy, was saying that like he thinks that Trump is going to win in like an utter landslide, and there's almost nobody except for like some like a celebrity politician that if Michelle Obama replaces Biden, then maybe Trump doesn't win in a landslide, right? But other than that, like he's cooked, he's fucked. And I kept being like, I have no idea where you're getting that from. I
Well,
think
my question would be like, what do you consider a landslide? Was 2016 a landslide? Because I
no,
remember all these Republicans saying that, and it's like kind of squeaked that one out. It was like it
yeah,
came
no,
down to a couple states. Like
this guy
it's
was
not.
saying like at least an electoral college landslide, right? Like whether or not like the popular votes would like it's like because you know we both agreed at several points. Yeah, the popular vote doesn't fucking matter, right? It's you know it's how many of the which how many states does this guy win by 50% versus 49.8%. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
it's like and he was basing that on polling from now between now and 2020. He had a whole thing. He fucking I because I was like, dude, I don't know where you're getting your information from. You seem like a reasonable enough person. I would love to like I can look up my own polls, but if you're not busy and you're fucking bored out of your mind, fucking hit me up with some fucking links, bro. Right? And his thing was basically like it was like the comparison of like the there's like a website. It's called like average polls or something. I can't remember. It's one of
There's a
those
bunch of them
websites where
now. It's
yeah,
really easy to look up polls now compared to like a couple of years ago. Actually, it's like,
yeah, and but this one was taking all of them and taking the average and then
mhm.
whatever, doing the whatever like the plus minus whatever, right? And it was like in 2020 it was plus Biden by 3 or 4, I think,
Mhm.
the margin of error. So it was like really it was +1 Biden, and it's -2 Biden or something like that, right? It's like Trump's
Yeah.
up by like 2 points. And in my head, I'm thinking, I don't know what about this sounds like a landslide because that's the point, right? You're quibbling with me over a 1 point, right? Because the when I was trying to be conciliatory to the guy, I was like, look, whichever one of us is right in quotes will probably depend on like a random county in fucking Pennsylvania, right? It'll be like 1,000 votes will fucking determine which one of us is right about this. Because the thing
Mhm.
that I was saying is that I think that if they replace Biden, they can do it with fucking anybody. Anybody. It doesn't matter. It could be fucking a random person. It could be Kamala. I think that it would be Kamala because that's just how you step on the least amount of toes, right?
Right. That would
It's
make the
like
most sense. Yeah.
she's just the vice president. It doesn't matter if she's good. It doesn't matter if she's fucking can talk. She's just under 80 and she can talk slightly better, right? Like that's it. It's like there's no what else, who cares, right? Because I think that the anti-Trump vote is the real thing, right?
Right.
It's how many people can you convince that Trump is actually different than Biden? Not as many as you could convince Trump is different than any of the other Democrats, literally any of them. Doesn't matter. Put
Yeah.
their names in a hat and pick one out at the convention. That's the new person. Everybody gets behind that person because who gives a fuck? That's what I really think. That's at the end of the day, that's what I think. And
So what do you think that they are going to replace him?
uh, based on what I've seen, see now, if we had recorded this a day or two after if we'd recorded this on our normal day of recording, I would have said yes. But now that it's been a couple days and their campaign or whatever, the 5 people that rule the world got together to get their fucking messaging together and like make some fucking meme campaign type shit and fucking, have a couple of viral moments that like are really trying to be that and they're not. A couple people make some fucking memes. There was one I saw that's just sickening about how like if Alfred was too old to take care of the Batcave, then you wouldn't vote for the Joker. And it's like, yeah, okay. But first of all, fuck, what? What kind of weird, dumb superhero bullshit are you on? And 2, like, Alfred shouldn't be too old to take care of the Batcave. It should have never come to that. If we're using that analogy, if it was fucking Alfred versus the Joker, then fucking Alfred, the Joker's gonna kill Alfred, and fucking and Batman's gonna be fucked because he's a baby, right?
Yeah.
It's like what your analogy is stupid. And then I saw another one where where Biden's at some fucking campaign thing and he's yelling about how like if you get knocked down then you get back up again, right? Chumbawamba song starts playing and like it's like all the comments underneath it were so funny. Like the comments were all just like Chumbawamba needs to sue the DNC for all they're worth and fucking take that money and fucking make the most communist album of all time. Right? Like it's like they need to let them run this ad and then sue them after the fact and then fucking and then just make like literally like Che Guevara the record, right? And it's like, yes, that's absolutely what should happen. But it's like, no, I see this shit convincing people and not just, idiots and old people, right? That fucking Joker thing got posted by like a couple of my friends, right? A couple of our friends.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, most people like they were saying is like they're gonna see a couple clips, but most people didn't watch the whole thing.
I mean, but I think more people did than ever.
Well, yes, that's true.
I watched it, me, and I'd rather die.
But yeah, I still think that's I'm still kind of convinced that that's been the plan the whole time. Like this debate was the test the waters trial run to decide what to do, and they had their answer ready to go in the first 30 minutes of the debate when Biden said, anyway, we beat Medicare.
Yeah.
and then it's back to Trump, and he's like, "Yep, he's right. He totally beat Medicare, and all he had to do was let all the immigrants in, and they just, they just took everything from all of us." It's like, yep, he wins that one. I can't.
Well, yeah, no, and even if it's like there was that there's
Biden
that
bent over and said, "Kick me in the ass, please," and Trump kicked him in the ass. Like it's
there was all that stuff that was like, the media has all been talking about how Biden's old or whatever, but meanwhile they're letting Trump's lies all just go, right? And in my head I'm like, I don't know how anyone thought that anything either one of them said was either true or a lie, right? Like the debate that I watched, and granted, I was drunk, right? Because that boy,
yeah, you were hungover the next day.
That little fucking drinking game of fucking drink every time he's asleep. Woo! Should not have been drinking anything that was 9 or 10 or 12% alcohol with that drinking game in mind. I drank a lot, so so it's like, so whatever, like I don't get how anything either one of them said could be considered coherent enough to constitute truth or lies. There was so many times where I was like, I don't know what the fuck
big
they're
one
talking
they
about.
kept pointing out was Trump talking about like, after birth abortions.
Yeah, that one Northam clip from fucking that was on Rogan when he had Alex Jones on for 5 hours. But that's where his brain's at. Something that happened fucking what, 5 years ago?
Right.
7 years ago.
Well, it's like kind of shit that a lot of Republicans they still think of. It's like Benghazi; they're never going to fucking stop. Like all this bullshit that's happened between then and now doesn't matter. That shit is like, Hillary's a criminal, and abortion is murder, and like that's you know,
Yeah.
it's like that's the foundation of all my beliefs. So it's like everything else is just bullshit, 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 bullshit.